going on, Luke here, and in 2021, there was supposed to be a Rugby League World Cup, and obviously that hasn't happened due to COVID. So that means there's no international games, and also that means there's no international teams picked. Now I remember after the grand final, it was a huge deal about who was getting picked in the Australian side, and players from the grand final winning side would often find out that they were in the international side as they were making their way around the field, doing the lap of honour, but obviously that's not the case this year. But that doesn't mean I can't pick my own team. Now yesterday I played as a New Zealand Kiwis 2017 World Cup side, and I will get around to doing a Kiwi side, but for today's video I'm going to be doing the 2021 Australian Kangaroos side, at least what I would pick anyways. Now I believe that one of the official Facebook pages or Twitter pages or whatever of the Kangaroos gave like a merit side, maybe it was even the NRL, they did a merit side. I was looking at guys like Ruben Garrick and I was thinking there's no way in hell they would have actually got picked for the Australian side, nor with some of the players in there. And I understand there's guys like Brian To'o, who I'm not sure whether you play for Australia or whether you play for Samoa. Sank himself with Jerome Luai. They've kind of said in the past that they will play for Samoa, and they have played for Samoa in the past, but as of late they've kind of come around and said that they would consider Australia. So I'm not sure where to go with that, but I've just left them out purely because they played for Samoa in the past. But look, enough chit chat. We're going to jump on Rugby League World Cup in a second, but before we do so, I just want to take time to say if you do want to enjoy this video, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also make sure you use the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub blockers, don't rely on the suggested videos, just use the notification bell and never miss any of these videos. Also while you're at it, go ahead and give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT for the most part. My Facebook is Mr. Luke, but everything else is Mr. Luke on YT, including Snapchat, including TikTok. So go ahead and give me a follow, give me an ad, do all that sort of stuff. Also check out the merch. You guys asked for it, I delivered. I've made it through Spreadshop, and the link for the Spreadshop is in the description below. Click on it, go ahead and check it out, and if you think it looks alright, go ahead and cop some of your own. Also, one last thing to mention, and that is the sponsor of this video, Manscaped. Who is the best in men's below the waist, grooming champions of the world? Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, all across Australia and New Zealand. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code MrLuke at manscaped.com. Now, I've been on the lookout for a new razor to use, and honestly, I never used an electric one because, well, I can't really grow a beard, so I've never really had a reason to have one, but I do need something for the other areas. But I wasn't sure about using an electric trimmer. But let me tell you, the Lawnmower 4.0 works. It's as simple as that. And I'm a bit of a rookie in this field. I've been in the Rookie of the Year calculations for the Dally M's rather than the actual Dally M medal itself. At least in terms of this sort of stuff. But thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology which reduces grooming injuries, my nether regions are as safe as Nathan Cleary kicking a conversion from the sideline. The Lawnmower 4.0 charges wirelessly, is waterproof so you can use it in the shower, and even has a couple different lengths you can cut to. So I might even have to try it on my actual hair, seeing as I can't get to the hairdressers. Fellas, it's time to make trimming your time and not a chore. Make me time the best time and go ahead and try the Lawnmower 4.0. Like I said earlier, I have a discount code which is Mr. Luke, which can be used at manscaped.com. The link is in the description below as well as the discount code. Guys, can't stress this enough. Support the people who support me, and more importantly, support Manscaped. Alrighty, we've got the intro and the plugs out of the way. We can jump on to Rugby League World Cup and pick this Australian side. Alrighty, we're on Rugby League World Cup here. You can see I'm in the fan hub, the 2021 Australian Kangaroos. I've already made them. I've already added all the players. I thought I'd just get that over and done with and not wasting time too much. So we're just going to click into this part. Look at the identity. So this is a custom side. This isn't the World Cup side or the international side. I made this one brand new. It's from scratch. You got the jerseys here, just the standard jerseys as modeled by James Tedesco. I could have used the World Cup one, but I figured World Cup's only every now and again. And I know this was supposed to be a World Cup year, but this is one they can use anytime. So there's just a normal jersey. The heritage jersey there is from the World Cup edition. So there's another option. Not that Australia usually play with a heritage jersey, but there's just another one. A little bit of a hoop jersey, a little bit of a stripe jersey. But the thing you've all come here for is to see who I've actually got in the actual side. So let's go ahead and look at the little roster first. So I just tracked a whole bunch of players who played in the State of Origin series or who would have played in the State of Origin series if it wasn't for injury. Obviously there's a few guys, say like Jack Whiten, probably not in a lot of form, but probably would have been included in a squad. A guy like Victor Radley didn't play for State of Origin, but probably would have been picked if it wasn't for suspension. Then we also have a guy like Tyson Frizzell. Missed the State of Origin series due to injury, but I believe he would have been picked. I think he would have been picked, and he was in the Australian side the last time they played as well. So I feel like you guys would have a fair idea of what the Australian side is going to be, but we're going to take a look at it. So, at fullback, James Tedesco. I chose Tedesco because I feel like Trbojevic is the obvious one, and it's reset. Oh my god.
A few moments later.
Okay, now we can take a look at the side. I've gone through and I've fixed it all up. So James Tedesco is the fullback. I think Tedesco really picked himself, especially over the last couple of years. He's a New South Wales fullback. He's Australian fullback. He's incumbent. So I think he picks himself, like I said. I think he'll be the captain of the side due to the fact that Latrell Evans is out of the side. So he's a New South Wales captain. Also adding to the fact that he's a Roosters captain. So he's got captain material written all over him. He has been the star of the show the last couple of years. Also, you do have Trbojevic and Latrell Mitchell who both play fullback. Obviously, Trbojevic picked up the Dally M player of the year, picked up fullback of the year, and is the form fullback, but the fact that he can play other positions just makes him so valuable, and that's why he plays in the centres for New South Wales, and that's why I think he plays in the centres for Australia. Same can be said about Latrell Mitchell, both are super versatile. Latrell Mitchell at one point was the best centre in the whole world, and I still think he probably is. If he played in the centres, he would be the best centre. Same can probably be said for Tom Trbojevic. Like realistically, if they played every week at centre, they would easily be the best players in the centre position. So the fact that they're in the Australian side, Latrell Mitchell, Tom Trbojevic, they are the centres. Then you have Dan Gagai, who plays centre week in, week out, and he's actually been playing quite well in the centres, but he was always known as a winger, sort of. At least that's where I feel like he played his best football. As of late, he's been playing quite well in the centres, but he's always known as a centre who should be playing on the wing, but wants to play in the centres because he wants more money. Before the Australian side, I think he'd find himself on the wing, especially that Brian Tyler. I haven't picked him. I think he'd be in the Samoan side. So Dan Gagai needed to find a spot for him. I've checked him on the wing. Josh Adokar is the other one, and he selects himself, kind of like Tedesco, has been there for quite some time, has been in the Australian side year after year. So Adokar, he's an easy one to pick. Then you got the halves. This was fairly easy. I feel like in the past it would have been a little bit contentious, but Nathan Cleary, after winning the premiership with Penrith, I think he's easily the number 7. I know Cherry Evans is the incumbent, but there's no way I would pick Cherry Evans over Nathan Cleary. It's as simple as that. So Nathan Cleary is 7. Cameron Munster, a little bit of controversy off the field, but I think he's still the best 5'8" in the comp. So for the halves, I feel like it was actually quite easy. Cherry Evans was the only real one who I considered. Maybe even Cody Walker, but look, Cameron Munster's been there and done it. Nathan Cleary has also now been there and done it. He's won Origin Series, he's won premierships. Same as Cameron Munster, so they're easy. Then you have Kristen Welch, who I think was one of the real standouts for the Queensland side. In a Queensland side that got absolutely thumped in 2021, I thought he really stood out, and when he didn't play was obviously when the thumpings happened, and when he did play, they ended up picking up a victory. So Christian Welch, I really rate him for the Storm, I rate him for Queensland, and I rate him for Australia. That's why I'd have him in the starting side. Then you have Jake Trbojevic as the other starter. I could consider Daniel Safidi. In fact, I probably might do that. Daniel Safidi into the starting side, just for that little bit of oomph. I feel like that's what they go for, and Jake Trbojevic can play a couple of positions, so that's why I chuck him on the bench. We got Damien Cook there in the hook position. It's between him and Harry Grant, and I feel like with how Harry Grant's season went for the Storm, I feel like Damien Cook, I feel like it sort of showed how valuable he actually is, and the fact that Harry Grant isn't quite up there at the moment. Now, last year you probably would have said, oh, Harry Grant, easily the number 9, look at his series for Queensland. But then he came out for Melbourne, he was injured quite a lot, and then he found himself behind Brandon Smith. So, Harry Grant, he's definitely got the talent there, he's played a good series for Queensland, but I think there's definitely some question marks over Harry Grant at this point. That means Damien Cook is easily our number 9. Maybe even Coruscant could be in the mix, but for me, Damien Cook is the best hooker in the game at the moment. Actually, Brandon Smith is the best hooker, but in terms of for Australia, Damien Cook is the best. But Dennis Fafidi, Cameron Welch, Damien Cook, that is our front row. The back row, Kurt Capewell, Cameron Murray, and Isaiah Yeo. So Isaiah Yeo really picks himself. Fantastic season. He's the New South Wales number 13. Same with Cameron Murray. They're in the New South Wales side. They've had absolutely incredible seasons. Cameron Murray, very, very lucky to get the Clive Churchill in a losing side. Kurt Capewell was actually in the winning side, and he had a great season. And obviously, he played in the centres for Queensland, and it didn't really work out. But when he got moved to the second row, that's when he really excelled, and that's when Queensland won the only game of the series. So, Kurt Capewell, I really rate him as a second rower. We're going to see how he goes for the Broncos. I think it'll be outstanding for them. Great signing for him, an underrated signing, I will say. So, we've got Kurt Capewell, Cameron Murray, and Isaiah Yeo in the back row. Angus Crichton was hard to leave out the starting side, but I feel like he comes off the bench in New South Wales. He can come on, he can play in the middle, he can play on the edge. I feel like he's more valuable on the bench because of how versatile he is. So I've chucked Angus Crichton in there because he can come on and do a role in a lot of different positions. Jake Trbojevic, obviously I had him in the starting side. I just made a quick move to swap him with Daniel Safidi. I feel like Safidi has earned his spot in the starting side because of how he plays for New South Wales and how he plays for the Knights. Where Jake Trbojevic, I can see him coming off the bench. I can also see Safidi coming off the bench, but Jake Trbojevic can play lock and the prop position. So that's the reason for chucking him on the bench. Payne Haas, another one, was super hard to leave out of the starting side, but I feel like Christian Welch deserved his spot in the starting side. Payne Haas, he's still super young. He will be the eventual starting prop in my opinion, but at the moment, he can come off the bench. I don't know if he's much of an impact player, but he's a guy who can play a lot of minutes, and I feel like if he wants to, he can be a super impactful player. So him going off the bench, that is super scary, and he's done it for the New South Wales Blues as well. Then you got Cherry Evans there, the current captain. Well, at least he was the current captain. I feel like right now he wouldn't be the captain, but I felt like I had to make a swap for him because I feel like he would get selected. I can't see him getting dropped at this point. Although personally, I'd probably have someone who's a bit more of utility. Maybe looking at a guy, maybe like Pappenhausen, or maybe a Jack White and Matt Burton, someone like that. Maybe a Victor Radley, or even a Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt would be perfect, but I honestly think that they would go for Cherry Evans just purely because he was the captain and because they don't want to drop him entirely out of the side. Like I said, throughout the season, there was a lot of talk about who would be the Australian halfback. Would it be Cherry Evans or would it be Nathan Cleary? And obviously Nathan Cleary went balls to the wall and ended up winning a premiership. So that really cancelled that one out. But for a good while, Cherry Evans was definitely in the mix. He's the current Queensland captain. He's also the current Queensland halfback. So I suppose he is the next in line. And the Kangaroos side has a history of carrying a guy like Cherry Evans on the bench. In fact, he's been the one to come off the bench. So for me, it's not out of the realms of possibility that Cherry Evans comes off the bench. You have other guys in the squad. Papali'i, very unlucky to not make the side for a long time. In my opinion, he was one of the best props in the world, if not the best. Got Callum Ponga there. Definite possibility in the future of him coming to the side, but with all the fullbacks, I don't really know where you put Callum Ponga, but he'd be someone who I consider would be in the squad. I've got Josh Papali in there 2 times for some reason. Cody Walker, arguably the best 5'8" in the comp. Just a matter of Cameron Munster's got the runs on the board, whereas Cody Walker doesn't really. So in the grand final, was playing really well, up to the point where he cost him the game essentially. So Cody Walker, in terms of playing for Australia, I think it probably would have happened at some point if the World Cup had happened this year, but in terms of him being a first choice 5'8", I think Cameron Munster is easily ahead of him. Then you have AJ Brimson. I just chucked him in there because I thought he looked quite good for Queensland when he played, but probably wouldn't actually get a run. Tyson Frizzell, super unlucky to not make the side. Super unlucky that he had an injury over the origin period. And because of that, I think he's fallen sort of down the pecking order in my opinion. But realistically, you can chuck him into this side and I probably wouldn't really question it too much. You got Harry Grant there. I've already talked about him. Felice Kafusi is another one who probably a couple of years ago would have been a lock-in for the second row. And honestly, he probably still is a lock-in, but in my opinion, I feel like he doesn't deserve to be in the Australian side at the moment. Jerome Luai, question marks over whether he's actually eligible for Australia. Ryan Papenhuyzen, another guy who I think would be in the squad because of his versatility, come off the bench, can play in the fullback position, kind of similar to Jack Whiten as well. Jack Whiten even more versatile. He's come off the bench for New South Wales. Obviously, he had a starting role in Game 3 for New South Wales, and it didn't really work out too well. But Jack Whiten, we know he's got the ability there. He's a big body. He could be a sort of utility guy off the bench. Same for Matt Burton, super versatile. David Fafita, wouldn't be surprised if he actually got picked in the actual side. But Dale Finucane, 86 rated, terrible player mod I will say, but great signing for the Sharks, and I would probably include him in the squad. Victor Radley, got so much talent, just needs to stop getting suspended. Tarek Sims, another one who's super unlucky, has played really well for New South Wales. I didn't really rate him in the side. Then all of a sudden he came out and he played extremely well, especially with some of the second rowers hot in his heels. The fact that he came into this side with a lot of question marks and he's absolutely killed it. I really rate Tarek Sims, and that's something I wouldn't have said a couple of years ago. So I would have him in the Australian squad. Same for Ben Hunt. He can cover so many positions. He can come off the bench. He's pretty much the perfect bench player. He could even play at the hooker position. I wouldn't even be shocked if Ben Hunt was the number 9. But look, Damien Cook's there. I can't really take Damien Cook out of the side for Ben Hunt. But that is my Australian Kangaroos squad. That is my Australian Kangaroos 17. Let me know in the comment section below. Is there anyone I missed? Is there any changes you would make to the side? Let me know your 1 to 17. Anyways, that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to use the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub boxes. Don't rely on the suggested videos. Use the notification bell and never miss any of my videos. Also, we gotta go ahead and give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke and YT. It's right here. But it's Mr. Luke and YT for the most part. It's Mr. Luke just for Facebook, but for everything else, it's Mr. Luke and YT, including Snapchat, including TikTok. So go ahead and give me a follow, give me an ad, do all that sort of stuff. Like I said earlier, I have some merchandise. Link is in the description below. It's a spread shop. You can see the design on the screen right now. Some people have already ordered some hats and they've ordered some shirts, and let me tell you, they look absolutely amazing in person. So if that takes your fancy, go ahead and check out the spread shop and maybe purchase some merchandise of your own. Also, a special thank you to the sponsor of this video, Manscaped. Now I have a code for 20% off and free shipping worldwide, and that code is MrLuke20. You can see it on the screen right now. Go ahead and use it. Your boss will thank you. Anyways, that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more content on the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.